Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of the Foolsopolis here in City Skylines. Well, last episode guys, we started to get the oil industry all kind of planned out, all built. It looks very interesting. We got train lines looking to it, we got a bunch of highway connections. It's kind of like on a little bit of an uneven terrain, and it's on the edge of the city, and it's looking really good so far. So today we're going to try and implement as much as we can of the industry, hopefully start producing some of the products, start to generate some revenue, and just get more imports and exports connected to it to make it as efficient as we possibly can. Now, if you guys are enjoying the Foolsopolis and want to see more, then make sure you smash that like button down below. If you're new around here, make sure you do subscribe so you get notified when the next episode does come out. But we are back, boys. We are back, and this is what we got done last episode. So if you didn't see it, basically, right, we've kind of turned the little bumpy section on the outskirts of our city right now into our beautiful oil industry. We have the big 4-lane roads which kind of all follow through and connect to the major 4-lane roads of the city. I still got to connect this one to the highway. This one here, I'm not actually too sure. I think it's just going to pretty much end here. This one, I had the idea of maybe continuing it. I was going to connect it to this, but then I realized, you know what? Let's actually get it connected to this instead, kind of create another little through road section, because we have a highway connection there that they can utilize, or, I mean, there's not really much going on, and the only reason I want to go this way is to export via the cargo area, which we're going to actually hook down a new train line to it, so we can import from this side and export too. Got a train kind of lines over here, which look really good right now. We added a few extra to kind of make it look like a huge kind of train line section, kind of a train yard in many ways. And so far, we've only got the main building, the maintenance, and a bunch of worker barracks right now. So we need to get it all hooked up. So I think first things first then, we're actually going to place down a couple of the oil buildings, the kind of oil drills and stuff like that, to start producing oil. And then we can see how they import and how they export and how all the little cargo vehicles kind of interact with this new area. As we add a few more little connections on and get the train line down to the airport too. So boom, ba-boom, boom. What we'll do then, we'll first start with some small oil pumps. I kind of want to do a little bit of everything. That's kind of what I want to do. And I think I'll drop the oil. Now, I don't have any oil in this area just yet, so we are going to have to add it all in. But I just want to kind of play around with this first. Drop you there. So I'm trying to do like a one gap between each one and then kind of stagger this one, so there's vehicles coming in, at least we can get to it a little bit easier. Then I think we'll kind of go to the large pumps on this side. So there is going to be kind of a lot. There's no doubt about this. But, you know, we've invested a lot of cash into this area. So we need to see some returns on our investments right now, boys. We do need to see some returns. So as much as I don't want to go over the top, well, I've kind of staggered that there so I can kind of place you there and then you there. I kind of don't want to go over the top, but at the same time, I kind of want to go over the top slightly with all these buildings. So they're going to complain right now that there's not enough kind of resources, not enough natural resources, because I haven't painted the oil underneath just yet. So we've got a couple of those large oil pumps right now. We'll take a look at these small oil drills. So these are definitely a lot larger, and they start to produce a little bit more. Now, what I need to kind of be wary of is I am placing a lot of buildings down here in this little section. So we're going to see a lot of traffic filtering out to go in this direction. Not a problem, just saying. We need to be wary of that. Then we're looking at, we've got these larger oil drills. So the bigger we go right now, the kind of less and less we're able to squeeze in. So I'm going to slightly stagger them so their entry points are a little bit different. There we go. And then after this, all I've got then is the kind of the offshore drilling one, and that's pretty much it. So we'll leave that area as it is for now. We'll add some larger ones over here. So again, trying to stagger it slightly. And then we'll go down here right now. So we'll do a 2 gap. Bam, 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 bam. So lots of nice little oil drills up there. We'll go for these kind of styly again. And we'll do a 1 gap coming down. Gonna do a 2 gap to them. So the area slowly coming together. We're starting to get a few little pumps and stuff down right now. So I definitely want loads. I definitely want to kind of scatter and cover the whole area, but you do need to be a little bit careful with the traffic. So what we'll do now then, we'll actually paint down the natural resource for the oil, and it will make, I'll pull it in pause right now, it will make the kind of the land, the ground kind of slightly change color. Now I don't know how far the oil is going to pretty much stretch, so if I just kind of paint it like that for now and just kind of see what happens. But we'll see what happens now anyway, because we have a bunch of oil buildings, or oil kind of, what would you call it, oil production buildings, and they have the ability to export from these 3 stations. And the reason we got the 3 in there is because this is where we're going to have all of our product buildings that produce the petroleum and the plastics, I believe, is the other thing they produce. So it kind of gives it like spreads it out in many ways. But also, I want to add in a couple of stops kind of going around, which will now allow us to kind of have these guys not drive all the way, but drop it on and then train it over here. So that's what we got to try and figure out too. Now, we have the cargo train line, which is the line on the right-hand side coming up. So as that bends around and goes in this direction, I kind of need at some point to flip it over to the other side to get down to here. But I don't want to do it too early because I want to be able to kind of come off this to get a couple of train lines connected up. So if I pick, to begin with, let's pick this one here and just run this. I'm going to run it to about there and we'll do the switcheroony as we kind of go under the bridge. So I just need to then figure out what the best way would be to kind of connect this up. So if I brought that to there and if I brought this to there, I don't think the connection tool would work. Because it would try to default to a bend, wouldn't it? It would try to default to a bend. Oh, actually. The bend in question might not be too shabby. If I kind of went like that. It bends beautifully. Creates a nice arch. I can then gravel all this out. Oh, he's back with the gravel tool, boys. He's back with the gravel tool right now. Right, Seniac. Listen, you've got stuff to do. I know you could sit here all day and paint gravel. But please, you've got stuff to do. Just do this little section. Leave it alone. Get back to what you're meant to be doing. Listen, once I pull the gravel brush out, guys, you know it's game over. You might as well just, like, call it a day. Right, I'm only going to do to there. As much as I want to paint the whole thing, I'm going to resist the urge to do so. So with that pushing down, then I can actually come off this and then add a few stops here and there. So you can kind of start to see how busy this area would potentially be. So what we're going to do then is, seeing as this kind of ends there, I'm thinking we might kind of create a little connection coming down and then do a little kind of train section just here. How does the topography go again? So it's the most flat up here, which is probably like one of the best places for the train. So I'm trying to figure out where we could actually drop this down. So let's say that this came out to there. And let's say, is there like a little section? Right, if I go into there, just do like a simplified bend in. So we got straight over. So we got a dedicated connection coming in hot and heavy. You can get rid of the topography right now. We can then try and add some form of a train line in. So that comes into there. I don't know really where it's going to go. I mean, I could delete it like that and it ends like this. No, actually, I can fit all that in to do like some kind of a loop. No, but I want to get them to connect to that because I want them to feel like they can... I mean, they probably won't even use it. Let's just be honest. They'll probably see that this is the quicker route to get down to these train areas. That's if they're using the train areas, because right now, they're probably just going to drive it out on the highway. Yeah. Right, okay. Too much jibber-jabber, Seniac. Too much jibber-jabber right now. Okay, we'll go out by... If I go out by a 10, and then bring it to there, if I just come out by a 10 here, I'm not going to stick to this. I'm just trying to... Oh, that's not even a 10. I'm just trying to figure out my positioning. So if I went to there, bend that in. But I'm going to choose to cut in here with this one. Does that feel right? I don't know if it feels right, to be honest with you. Well, I went to there with that. Unless I also came down to there with this and then dropped the cargo station here. To be honest with you, I could do one there, one here, and I could do one here. So double stations, which I could create a little V further down and then bring them together in. So what that does then, if I... okay, not actually, I'm not going to put it there. We'll put it on this side, so we can have an additional one over there. Then we've kind of split them up quite nicely. Yeah, that's going to be the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to bring this in a straight line coming down to kind of mirror what we've got going on. But that road will probably come... To be honest with you, I might even actually extend that and push it over and under. So just so we got something going on, we can kind of drive through that area. But looking at it, I think we'll pick a section just... Okay, we'll pick that section because it's the most straight kind of bit of it. And if I delete back a bit, and let's say I came out here to there, just so we can kind of grab the bend. Where is the bend? Alright, so it kind of falls through, flows quite nice, no dramas, no dramas. And yeah, so we kind of need to make our, because it's going to be a one-way road to a certain degree, then we need to kind of flip it around. So we'll bring it down to, we'll do a 5 by 5, a 5 by 5. Run this back up to there by 20. And then cut it in. Is it too close, do you reckon? Actually, if I delete that back. I mean, I know I've got to do it as a one-way road. I could do a 3 by 3. 3 by 3. And then a 6 there. It looks shocking, doesn't it? It does look shocking. Not everyone's gonna want to go in this direction. Oh, that looks terrible. Right, just humour me, guys. Just humour me right now. All right, there we go with that. Yikes! Yikes! And then we'll try and do something similar here. I think this one we can do a little bit different. I could do the 5 by 5, 5 by 5. And then what I could do is I can connect it back up to here. So that's a 23. So if I come up by an 18, I can do a 5 by 5. And then we're back in. But obviously we set this up as a one-way road. See, this one kind of worked out a little bit better. So where then I could drop this one down. I can even put it there. Yeah, we'll put it on that side. This I'm not feeling too much right now. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not feeling it too much. Alright, we need to figure something out here. Because that one there is not really going to play out too well. I'm wondering if actually I could delete this. Yeah, delete that as well. And we'll come off, let's say here, because we all know the majority of these people are going to use that train station if I build one in. So if I came off here, came out by let's go down by 40, just to give us like a fair bit of space. And that going over should be a 20. So if I do a 10 by 10, a 10 by 10, and that should then be a straight up. Seems ridiculous. But then having this down here gives us enough through road for them to kind of do a loop. I know it seems ridiculous compared to that size. I could narrow it and shorten it. just feel like it's too excessive. We'll do a little bit of a wiggle. Alright, we'll come out to there. We'll do a 5 by 5. A 5 by 5. Bringing it down to the same level. So it doesn't really change much, but it's just enough to kind of take the edge off for it seeming too ridiculous. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it's meant to do. It's kind of what it's meant to do. So, they're all now in. I'll do the terraform in just a moment anyway. And we'll pick a little section out for the train line. So, how it's going to work is we're going to bring this in. Actually, do you know what? I don't think I need to. I can actually bring that in and then V. And then maybe bring this down. And then V a little bit earlier. So I think I'll make the crisscross happen a little bit later. Now, why can't I do the train line? There we go. I'm going to have to anarchy it through there. So, if I stick it to the ground, we come out by 10. And we do a... Actually, cancel that because I just realised how close we are to that. If I do a 10 by 10, then we go across by a 20, and then a 10 by 10, and I'm hoping, what's that then away? Okay, we're still quite some distance. If I do another 10, because we're looking for that 21. Okay, if I do a 5, so, forget the angles, we can fix those. That's all in like there, and it kind of works quite perfect. I could do that going this way, but that might be a bit too close. Or shall I attempt it and see how close it would actually be? So that would be a 10 by 10. Goes across. Was it by a 20? Yeah. And then a 10 by 10. And... oh, that's technically closer anyway. I didn't realise that. So a 21 is a bit too much right now. A 10. 21. 21. Which doesn't want to play ball on this section. Right, I have to push it back slightly. So we get it working there. It's connected there. Now, yeah, that's close here. But I don't think it would be too much of an issue. We'll have to see. Now, they won't be using this one too much just yet until we extend over there. But it's just enough to get things going. So, enough time should now have passed then, once we've done this smoothing. We can then get an idea of how the train network is going to then affect the imports and exports. So I'm just going to smoothen all this out. Just take the edge off. There we go. Right, beautiful. And then we'll probably make this road kind of come over this and then off its skedaddles. So right now then, all these buildings are going to be complaining that there's not enough buyers for the product. And that's understandable because at the minute, they're producing so much oil. Where do they send it? Where do they take it? Well, right now, the only way they can do is this way, and then skedaddle out, and then it's like 1,000,000 miles to get to like the nearest import-export area. So we'll set up now then the airport section for them to export that oil. So we need the cargo train stop basically, and I could create something like this, a nice standardized loop, but I don't know if we're ultimately going to need it or whether I just literally stop it. No, I think I'm gonna have to need it. I think I'm gonna need it. Now, right, let's get a road in for this. So what I could do is I could make this here come out by a 10. I could run the what's that to there? So 55. So if I do a 45 and then just end it with a nice 10 by 10 bend. To be honest with you, I could do the same here. To be honest, 10 by 11. We'll go with it. Why not? And then just drop that kind of nicely just here. And then we have to then switch over the train line going through. So I've got a couple of options. I think the easiest one would probably be to sink it down. So if I brought it by 12 and then dropped it down to 12, we're going to cross by another 10. Then if I go from here by another 10 and then crisscross that, we'll then have to upgrade and raise this one just a little bit more as that drop then happens. And then bring this 12 by 12 up. And off we go. And I'm hoping we've crisscrossed it quite nice. So what we'll do then is we'll kind of bend that a bit more. Bend that a bit more so it's not mental. And we've elevated it perfectly. So a little bit of a smoothing right now wouldn't go amiss. Now, why does that feel so... Oh, it feels so harsh because of the huge hill I've got over here. Alright, if I kind of just dig into it slightly. Alright, push that back a bit more. And then get this to kind of smoothen down with it. And there we go. No stresses, no dramas. I will change the elevation in just a moment a bit more to kind of fit it in. But this... I can bring all the way up. Now, I've got options. I could bring it round and have it connect somewhere. Or we could just literally have it as an end station to the train line there. Just kind of completely end it at this point. So if I was to continue it, where am I potentially taking it? Where is it going to go? We kind of have everything all set up for us around here. I mean, if they wanted to go further down, they wouldn't go this way. They would have to go round and then bam. I mean, it's not much difference. It's not much difference. So we'll just kind of keep it as a simple connection. And I'm only going to connect to this one on this side because we might in the future want to use the other side. So yeah, interesting. Right, let's go maximum on that bend. Boom. Right, there we go. We're hooked up to the actual airport right now. So imports and exports can happen a whole lot easier for those guys. We're now going to sort out the elevation change. So we'll go from here to here. Add that in. Actually, no, we'll go from there to there. That's better. And then go from there to there with that one. Aha! Smoothie, smoothie. Alright, push all that back at the top so we can push it out a bit more. And sweet, mate. You won't even notice the switcheroony that happens. So give that some time then, because obviously there's a lot of stuff going down now. Granted, once I get the production buildings to create the petroleum and the plastic over here, you probably won't see them using this as much. But you never know. They might use this to kind of train a load of it round rather than driving it. Who knows? Who actually knows at this point? Because, let's be honest, I don't. So right now, 374 barrels are being produced and export for 24 grand, making 16 grand profit. That's pretty good if you ask me. So let's get some buildings down. Oh, we need to get some storage buildings down first. So some large crude oil tanks. Where would be best to place this down? I think maybe having it within this area would be a good sign. So they're literally naturally now going to fill up these storage tanks. So I'm going to drop 1 and 1 on both sides. So very close together, but they'll now fill all these up before anything happens. I will get some down here, but I'm going to place down the production buildings first. So we've got this one here, which produces the plastics. Is it the naphtha cracker plant? Is that how you pronounce it? So let's get a bunch of these bad boys in. I'm going to pause it. Makes it a little bit easier to place it. And we're going to do it in a system where it doesn't cause too many issues. Look at the elevation change. For traffic. So there's always one side of the road that's completely free. I don't think there's much we can kind of do about that, is there? I might grav it all off as well. No, concrete it all off is probably what I'll do. So there's 8 of those. Now the waste oil refinery plant, which produces petroleum. We're going to do the same thing for this. So I'm going to give this one a 2 gap. So we're doing 3 there. Now do it from this side then. And then do it from this side. And then I won't do it there because that's where the train line is. But you can see right now how it all comes together. So we've got 3, 6, 9 of them, 8 of them, which feels like not many, but it's actually quite a lot of buildings. It is actually quite a lot of buildings. So we'll place down some localized storage for these guys right now for the kind of the petroleum. So if I did 1 there, 1 there. So having these kind of face away for just a moment. And then we're going to place down some warehouses. So these warehouses are the ones that fit in beautifully. So if I did 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. I could go for a large one here, but I might save that for like some kind of refining plant in the unique factories. So we want to store in here petroleum. This one will store plastics. This one will store that's plain timber. Petroleum. This one will store plastics, and then no, actually I was going to do one for unique factory goods, but we don't have any unique factories just yet, so we'll leave it to there for now. We'll see how busy that becomes. So it might be a minute or 2 before we start seeing some exports going on, but these will then eventually stop complaining about not enough buyers for the products, because we can then produce it into products basically anyway. So there's a train going out right now. Which way are you going? You're going this way. So that might... Hang on, where are you actually going? To the cargo hub. Oh, you're exporting over here. Oh, because that's the closest shipping route. Of course it is. Now, I did ask you guys whether I should get some shipping in. A lot of you guys want me to get some shipping in. I'm not really too sure what the best method would be. Probably to kind of create like a canal going down this way would probably be the easiest one, maybe. I'm thinking so. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Because there's a few ideas in which in how I could do it. But we'll see. We'll see as time goes on. So it's a very basic kind of oil refinery plant just right now. A lot of these guys complaining, again, like I said, not enough buyers for the product. So I'll give them time for stuff to happen. These guys are requesting not enough raw materials. So you're in that kind of awkward period right now where they're filling up the storage first before they send it to where they need to send it. So we'll give it some time anyway. We'll give it a little bit of time to pass. And we'll see what's going to go down. Now, I wonder how used this will become. This additional one. Because this gets used pretty much right now, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so I've left that extra one on this side here, so I can extend that one going down in case I ever build over here with something different. But it's definitely going to be interesting. So we're going to get some trees down right now. So get the Foolsopolis brush. Reduce that size slightly. And I'm just going to plant some trees down in some of the natural areas by the disused train track side of things. And we'll definitely get some placed down here. I don't know if this affects it in terms of like pollution. I don't know if it does. But we're just placing some down so we kind of understand the area that we're kind of creating. And I'll do a little bit over here. Not entirely sure where we're going to be taking all this, but it's down nonetheless, so we can understand how this is going to work. Does it place trees in the middle? I think it would be nice to have some trees running through the whole train line area here, just to kind of beautify this a bit more. Run it further down, both sides. Nice and chunky. So it kind of feels like you're in a countryside then as you're kind of exporting these goods. I'm going to kind of run to the edge of the oil industry. Alright, leave it like that, because you can get carried away. And we'll eventually do some tree kind of stuff in the middle. So once I figured out where all my oil kind of buildings are going to be, the areas that we don't have it, for example, let's say I left all this space here empty. I'll get rid of the resource so it kind of becomes more green and plant some trees down and stuff like that. Yeah, it is going to cause a little bit of pollution. It is what it is, boys. It is what it is. But yeah, they're still taking all the goods to the big storage crude tank right now. And same over here. So it'll be a while before you see any differences change. So we got some oil going out right now, which you're going to the cargo hub. Which again, for those guys, that's the closest shipping one. And yeah, it'll be some time before we start seeing some changes. Right, okay. So I could go crazy a little bit more right now, but I want it to all slightly settle down. So we'll leave what we've done for now. Wait for it to kind of low-key settle down. And then we'll kind of then do some more expansions. So while all that's happening anyway, we're starting to get a little bit more residential, a little bit more commercial, a little bit more industry demand, which shows that all of the stuff that we recently zoned is kind of zoned out. Is the best way to put it, right? We've kind of reached the end of it. So I can now add in some more zoning. So over here, we have a big commercial area. So I think we need to add in some residential, really, don't we? So what we'll do then, because this is like the suburb section, we will continue the roads are running. So this one I'm going to bring out by another 30. I bring this one out by another 30. Now, I want to eventually go to side roads, side streets. I don't think I did many side streets around here, did I? But this one's going to be a little bit more side streety. So this road right now, if I kind of do a 20 by 20, and then this one a 20 by 20, we'll kind of get these to kind of connect up, and then we'll do like a bunch of side streets coming off. So I'm going to go up by a 40 here, and I don't need to be a perfect circle, but I'll do a 20 by 20 here. I'm actually going to do a 10 by 10. Oh no, that actually is not looking like it's going to... Ooh, okay, that's interesting. So if I bring this to here, and then we'll use the connection tool to just to finish it off for us. Nice little finish, boys. There we go. And then leave that like that. We'll have the through road for this one going straight down. So these are like kind of like our main roads. And then I won't do one that way, because everything else then will be beautiful little side streets. So this is definitely the suburbs area. So if I ran this up, and then ran our next one up, continuing this fashion, this is the neighborhoods, boys. And then I'm going to pick a central section here to kind of cut that through. Like that. And it's going to be a little bit awkward to do something here, but I think we can get away with the 14 by 14. And then we can definitely end this. With a couple of cul-de-sacs just ending there. Definitely some trees. Oh no, I was going to do a park in here. Scrap that idea. I was going to do a city park in there, wasn't I? Yeah. Whoopsie. Right, we definitely did some cul-de-sacs coming down here. So I'm going to come up by a 5 every so often. Right, end that like that. And then this, we'll continue this going up. So the inside of this circle would be our grid. And then eventually, outside of it is when we start to get all the bendy and windy. So this is like the grid version of the suburbs. So we'll come up to about here. But I'm going to literally bend away from it. There we go. And I'm not even going to connect like that. I'm just probably going to do like a connection here, straight down the middle. And then we'll do a 4. We'll do a... I'll do a little bit longer there, a 6. 4. We'll do a 6. So these are suburbs, but if you, not suburbs, cul-de-sacs. Couple of cul-de-sacs just there. So I won't go too crazy on that because I'm still waiting for the game to simulate. So we'll hold up for just a minute. But we will zone residential stuffs going all the way up. Look how slow the game feels right now. It feels so slow. It does feel really, really slow. It's just easy at some points right now to pause it and do stuff. Alright, get all that in. And I'll leave that in because that's going to spend the residential demand that I do have. And we'll come back to that a little bit later. So I've paused most like there, so not really much would have changed here. Not really much would have changed. But they're still... I think they're still kind of taking... No, I think the changes now happened with... Are these buildings now starting to get their oil? A couple of them are. There's a couple of trucks now on the way down. Oh no, they're filling these up with storage. Okay. But also, the first wave of vehicles that came out of this industry that would have driven the highway to go and export are now finally coming back. They're returning to the facility. So that's interesting. Also, it looks like I'm going to have to set this up right now, don't I? So what we'll do, we'll get rid of the traffic lights here and here. We'll upgrade these slip roads right now to the 2-laners. So we'll go back by... Oh, hang on. By 2 or by 3? We'll go 3. To give them 2 lanes, so as they're coming down on the approach... Without me even doing any lane math or anything like that, it gives the 2 lanes to approach and turn off, whether they're going left or right. Even though they can't really go any other way right now, it just kind of filters it a little bit easier and kind of bulks up the road a bit more. So, yeah, are they now... I mean, yeah, some vehicles are now slowly heading to fill these buildings up. We're about to head on the crisscross section. So that's going to fill all those up right now. We're about to head on the crisscross section where we start producing. Now, we haven't done any output just yet of petroleum or plastics, but it's, like I said, we're on the cusp of it changing. It's slowly going to happen. And then we should start making some serious cash. Just gotta play the waiting game. Just gotta play the waiting game right now. So yeah, also yeah, we gotta spike that too. Because we spent so much time right now delivering the goods to the storage, it kind of like... It's a weird way that how the game works. It's like all of a sudden we can't then use it. So we have this brief period, even though we're producing these 600 barrels, we import, because at the moment, these can't get anything because all the vehicles are too busy taking it to the storage. So these buildings think that we just don't have any oil in the region at all. So it naturally imports it, which is kind of annoying, but it's how the game works, unfortunately. So we've got a lot of oil vehicles right now, don't we? We have a ton of them, but I'm seeing multiple trains leaving this train station. Now that's going to Cannonburg. That's going outside of the region. This is going to the cargo harbour all the way over there. So we're still exporting. We're still exporting right now. I mean, forget these buildings. It's not like they want any oil right now. But the tail ends are ending right now. So we come to the end of filling all that up. A lot of vehicles are returning to the facility. This is where we need to kind of then sort out of our lane managements, to allow the vehicles to flow in a little bit easier. And maybe have, like here, this be our dedicated turning, and then this is our straight on. Just so we can split the vehicles up slightly. For this one, that's our straight on. We'll have this to be our turn. That's our turn. So I know this is basic junction stuff right now, but I mean, I could stick around about some, but I'm just hard wiring it right now, what lanes they need to be in. as they approach this, just to kind of ease the flow a bit more, ease the burden. And I could add additional connections on, but just to ease the burden right now, get stuff rocking and rolling. Oh, look at this. There's oil being delivered, boys. There's oil being delivered. So they are using it. No trains coming in. More oil being delivered. It's not a lot, but every train that delivers oil is a less vehicle on the road. So that can only be a good thing, right? That can only be a good thing. Interesting. And they're using all three as well. That one there, that just got used. The train's going down to this one. So it's good to see all three. I mean, it's exactly what I wanted it to happen. And the fact that it's actually happening right now is pretty good. I'm impressed. Very impressed. So less and less buildings are slowly starting to complain. We're now starting to have some output of plastics, which is good. And our import is slowly reducing as we're now able to kind of get the barrels to where they need to go to. These are still, quite a few of these still complaining about there's not enough buyers for the product. Trust me, there's plenty of buyers for your product. You just need to learn to export it correctly. But it's slowly happening anyway. We're in that transitional period. We are in that slight transitional period right now. They just got to figure out what they want to do with it. Any trains going up to the airport just yet? Not that I've seen any. And none of these want to kind of head down in this direction. No cargo trains. Not yet, but give it time. Give it some time, and we will see the change happen. So it's very, very busy over here. So maybe we should start to think about, you know, having a couple of alternative connections to get into this area, rather than all focusing driving up there. Or I just kind of bulk up the roads a bit more. So we have like the little mini 4 lanes going through here, so they can kind of crisscross and change. Or it could be the fact that these are vehicles just still returning. Again, give them some time. The traffic will slowly die down. So many trains down these lines. It looks so good, doesn't it? It does look so good. I mean, less and less of these buildings are now complaining about buyers. So, like I said, the transition is now happening. But I think we're going to have to upgrade this road slightly. So we'll turn it into a 4-lane road. There we go. So I might as well do a 4-laner going down to here. So what that will allow me to do, and I'm only really going to do it to this junction. Oh, have I raised that? I've raised it up, haven't I? Is that turns there. Obviously, that will go this way and this way. That turns there. That goes that way, and we'll have it go over as well. That should turn here. That should you're straight on, and that should straight on as well. I know it's counterintuitive. It's you know, it's like I'm babysitting them on what to do. That didn't disappear when I upgraded it, right? Oh, it freaking did. Damn it, game. Damn it. But it just kind of hardwires it for them to understand where they've got to go. So people going straight on versus going right. You know, there's 2 lanes. It means I can get 2 vehicles from one direction going across the junction with ease. So these guys can just turn in and nothing stops them. Same thing probably now needed to get added over here. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad shout to just get like another connection, just to, like going in here anyway. So we'll do it on this one, where that's a straight run down to there. So dividing up the traffic on how it enters and exits the area. And probably at some point, maybe utilizing, deleting that road and making that go straight and connecting to there could probably be a good shout too. Then you probably would want a roundabout here anyway. That's probably when you would want it. But a lot of chaos. I have to wait for it to settle down to understand where where the issues do remain, because you just don't know where they're going to remain as we filter everything out right now. This is going to get a little less busier as we do more filtering. But then they're going to use this, so will we then have issues on here? Probably. Like I said, give it a little bit of time. Another export going out right now. Going to the cargo hub all the way over here. They're loving that one, aren't they? They're loving this cargo hub right now. There's going to be ships for days coming out of that one. Holy smokes. So it's a good start. It's a very good start right now. This is something that we'll continually add on as time progresses. We're importing less and less. We're producing more and more. Plastics and petroleum are slowly getting exported, and we're gonna slowly start turning a profit. So the only thing that I need to do right now is make it a little bit more efficient for vehicles to travel, to get in and out a little bit easier, to be able to navigate the whole area a little bit easier too. So we can transport the oil to the buildings, then just get it out of the region to make that solid, cold, hard cash. We're actually now making a profit, by the way. 556, boys. Yay, finally. Doesn't seem like a lot, does it? We've now just upgraded to a 5-star oil field too, or oil industry. So the money is definitely there to be made. Guys, we're going to end it for here. I hope you did enjoy this. If you did, smash the like button down below. Until next time, I see you all soon. So good.